How's it going, everybody? My name is Ryan. Welcome to Crosswatcher. I have a tarot read for you today, I think. Honestly, I just kind of overwhelmed. I don't really have anything prepared to say. And this video isn't necessarily supposed to be like a storyline tarot read. It's for the collective. What I want to talk about right now, I think, is so right now I'm filming this on January 17th, right? Okay. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the channel, I do tarot, I channel message, I channel spirit, I give advice. We talk about the ascension process, we talk about shadow work, we talk about the practicalities of manifestation. We talk about what we don't talk about is we don't talk about our feelings on this channel, okay? There's a lot of people out there, and you might relate with this. You might relate with the fact that there's a lot of people out there who are kind of like ruled by their feelings. And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with feelings. There's nothing wrong with anything. Okay? Follow me. There's nothing wrong. I don't like using the word wrong, but let me use it anyways. Whatever. There's nothing wrong with your feelings. As much as there is a problem with your reactivity to how you think that things should feel. Right? So, what's a good example? You have a conversation with anybody, right? But you want them to be sensitive to how you feel, right? It's been a big subject over the past few years. People being ruled by their feelings. Now, you cannot manifest, well, I mean, you can try, but you can't manifest a given result of how someone will respond or feel about your emotions, okay? Just ain't gonna happen. Especially if you have no attachment to that person at all. If that person has no attachment to you, why are you going around expecting them to understand how you feel, right? Okay. So, like I said, I didn't have anything prepared to say. But you're probably feeling a stress point right about now. It's in my notes. In my notes, what we have here is from the 16th to the 21st. Is we're crossing through and out of an energetic portal. Now, you're probably seeing it, you're hearing it, you're smelling it, you're tasting it, you're feeling it, that things are stressful. Interactions with people are still a little bit backwards. And by backwards, I mean, you could literally, a great example that I've observed is, I'm a YouTuber. And so I spend some time in my given day. I try not to be there all day, but I spend a good time on YouTube, just sort of observing, what my algorithm is giving me, what the universe is giving me, pretty much. And I comment on a lot of the, I comment on a lot of channels. I just drop in my opinions, on manifestation, on ascension, the ascension process, universal philosophies, that have stood the test of time. And I remember I was commenting the other day, and I commented in general about what I see out there as far as self-help channels, right? This isn't necessarily a self-help channel, to be honest with you, Crosswatcher. It's a tarot manifestation. If it was, I don't know, it's kind of I guess you could kind of call it a self-help, but it doesn't rely, this channel does not rely on how you feel about my situation, like it doesn't matter how, I have to go through what I have to go through. and I put out the content I put out. But it's not dependent on what people think about me. It's not dependent on how you agree with how I feel. So you slide into my comments, you want to say something negative, it has no effect on me because I'm not attached to any emotion that I have. Like I'm not attached to, I want someone to validate me because I feel a certain way. And so someone comes in with the negative response. I'm like, oh, well, that didn't validate me. I'm going to react to it, Yeah, it's not so much the sensitive part, I don't want to come across as insensitive. I just have no reaction to it. So, I comment like the other day, I commented about authentic creativity and how I was observing how there's a couple different examples out there of self-help channels that put out this example, and a lot of them do the same thing. Okay. One is that the creator of the content will put out messages, content, reflections of how they feel, of their emotions, to prompt an emotional response to the viewer so that they can relate, so that there's a relation. I put out something, somebody resonates with it and relates back, right? But then one of those examples is that it's the emotional response, the feelings. Oh, why don't you, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't prepare a speech or anything, but I'm trying to give an example. Somebody, you want people to understand, what you went through, right? So you tell the story, and of course it's going to provoke, in a good way or bad way, whatever. It's going to provoke an emotional response, and someone's going to slide into your comments and they're going to say, this really resonates with me. Here's my story. This is how I feel about it, right? So now all of a sudden we're kind of not I don't want to say taking on a victim mentality. It's not the result in every I don't even know what you would call it. That's not the result in the content everyone puts out. It's not in the response. That's not in that's not the result of the reactions you'll get, the responses you'll get in your comments. Okay, not everybody is going to feel that same way. Man, I need more coffee. So there's the avenue of putting out content in hopes or in result of, or the result of it is getting somebody resonating, relating, responding back, an emotional prompt, right? And a lot of content creators, they thrive off of that. Okay, so it's all about the healing journey and the sensitivity and the emotions and how bad you felt about the situation and how the world treats you and how there's an acceptance or non-acceptance, and talking about that. That's, there's nothing wrong with talking about that. I don't want you to think that I think that. There's nothing wrong with feeling bad. There's nothing wrong with feeling good, right? It's your reactivity and how much you attach to it, how much you attach to your emotion. In response, I guess, if that makes sense to you, let me know down in the comments. Then there's this other example that I came up with. Okay, keeping in mind that I was responding to I'm not going to mention names, but I was responding to a YouTube channel that commands millions of followers. Okay, so it's not in my mind that I'm going to teach anybody anything on their channel. It's not in my mind that I have any kind of relation to this person at all, except for the fact that I resonate with their teachings. Okay. So the second that brings me to the second point is there's content creators also out there that duplicate, parrot, and repeat the works of others that came before them. right? I had mentioned before in a video, Neville Goddard. Okay, Neville Goddard was I don't research Neville Goddard. I just know who he is and what he did. He was like kind of like, he brought on some philosophies that help with detachment, that help with manifestation, self-help, using the laws of attraction in his given time, right? So my point is that so there's Neville Goddard, there's Dolores Cannon. Both these creators are no longer around in the world, okay, in the physical form, but their work continues on through the help of others, content creators who put out their work. And if it was just one person putting out their work, or just let's just say everybody who put out their work put out, one principle by them one time, moved on to a different principle, that's not really the case of it. What's the other approach to it is that what these content creators are doing, like I said, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not trying to put a negative light on it. I'm just speaking the truth. So don't hate me. But what it is that there's many content creators that see these philosophies, these videos, these recordings as being very valuable, but being a very energetically lucrative form of energy exchange. Okay, they put out the philosophies of others for other people to learn, because maybe they hadn't learned it before. And so they'll gain a following, right? But then you have channels that only focus on the teachings of others. There's no original, authentic creativity involved. Okay, very easy to put out the content of others, which is why I don't mention the works of others. If anything, I will do some research, a little bit of research on methods for manifestation, shadow work, what have you, the content that I put out, right? But then I'll meditate on it, and I will channel the information relative to things I've already learned in my past, in this lifetime, perhaps even in multiple lifetimes. I'll meditate on it, and I'll get a channeled message, and it comes out in a certain form. One example is the astrological, the energy portals, the formulas that I've come up with, the manifestation alignment schedules that I've put forth. They're all channeled after already doing the research on some physical aspects. Like, for example, the astrological anomalies, I wouldn't know what they are unless I looked them up, right? Pluto going into Aquarius, where the sun is. It's in Capricorn now. It's going into Aquarius on the 20th or 22nd, whatever. It's not the point. But then I meditate on it, and I channel where these portals are actually going to be, where they're going to become active, where the stress points are, what they're prompting in our mental, physical, emotional light body, okay, and kind of like a navigation, channeling like a navigation format on how to see ourselves through, okay. And when I pull these cards, it's not so, yes, it does take some research. I have look at this big old thick old book. Guess what it reads on? Okay, so I do some research, but in the end, when I pull a card, when me and Spirit pull a card, it's a channeled message coming out. Okay, words come to my mind, words come to my third eye, words come to my inner knowing, or a scenario or a feeling or an emotion, and I have to put them into words. Okay, it's based on what I know. Only I can only speak on what I know. Okay, but what it isn't is it isn't how I feel about your situation. It isn't how I feel about my situation. It isn't the works of others, right? So the point is we're all trying to get to this original, authentic creativity, but a lot of us don't even realize that that's what we need to be doing. That's we have all these problems in the world. We can't solve these problems, and we're constantly trying to depend on the works of others. And then some people take that, it's like I said, it's not a bad thing. How could you gain in an area where you don't even have philosophy, you don't even have the knowledge on the subject? But then what are you putting out? Because we're all putting out something, right? We don't have to take reverses today. Five of Pentacles, first card coming out in this read. 16 minutes and 8 seconds into this video. Right. So the process of achievement. What I got here in my notes, channeled notes, is life in reflection to the manifestation. So you're trying to manifest something. And we are always doing this. You can try all you want to manifest something. If you don't try, you're still manifesting. You're still, the energy is still handing you what's in your vibration. How much or how often of an opportunity are you giving the universe to hand you your miracles, right? Are you putting yourself into the situation? Are you taking the right action? Are you taking action? Are you using your intuitive guidance? Are you centered? Are you aligned? What is your method of alignment? Is it far out there, so far out there to where you don't even believe it? Is it not out there enough? Is it not grounded enough to where you end up abandoning your methods or your teachers, or the philosophy behind what you're trying to manifest? Like I said, you're always manifesting, whether or not you believe in manifestation or not. You're always manifesting something. It's why this card exists, because you're always going to have choices. The universe is always backing you, and you see all this blue. You see all that blue. That is the place from which our manifestations come from. The void, the stillness and the silence, the universe handing us stuff. Poof, there it is. Right? But then, think about the perspective. What role does your shadow play in all of this? Some people don't even feel like that their shadow plays any role in this. Now, working your job, watching Netflix, chilling with your friends, and defining what's being manifested as a novelty, aside from what's keeping you comfortable. Is that what that says? Novelty, aside from what's keeping you comfortable. Sorry, my own chicken scratch. It's hard for me to read. Let me read that again. Working your job, watching Netflix, chilling with your friends, and defining what's being manifested as a novelty aside from what's keeping you comfortable. So the subject here is comfort. Feelings, how you feel about a situation, what you're willing and not willing to do. I mentioned this a lot on my channel. What are you willing to do and not willing to do? Now, this has nothing to do with feelings, but I'm going to give myself as an example. I am homeless, right? I did not become homeless by accident. It's not just by universal design either. I was very conscious that this is what I needed to do. This is where I needed to go. This is where I wanted to go. Okay. Now I'll let you in on a little secret, Because a lot of people do this. Because you're probably asking yourself right now, or you're probably saying it to yourself right now. And what it is that a lot of people who do this, YouTubers that go homeless, what they do first is that first of all, they might still have a job. And yeah, when I became homeless, I had a job, but I gave that job up. I quit that job. It didn't take long before I realized, okay, that's what I need to do. Because it would have just kept me in a sense of comfort, right? Now, what a lot of YouTubers do is they, or who are in my situation, is they'll save themselves up a grip of money before they actually dive into, the road voyage, the needing to be homeless, learning the lessons. I did not do that. In fact, I didn't even have $1 to my name when I became homeless. I've been homeless for 2 months. 2 months. I've been homeless. No home, no income, and with no money to my name. Do you think I haven't manifested money in that time? You think I'd still be putting out these videos? If I hadn't manifested money, through the steps, through the proper steps. The point is, I had to step out of my comfort zone to see if I could do it. Of course, it takes action. You can't just sit at home or in my case, I live in a car. You can't just sit in your car all day and not take some form of action, kind of sit there and be like, oh, well, where's my manifestation? I'm sitting here. It's funny when these cards come out, I'm not even looking at them, but they're totally relating with what I'm saying here. Okay? So, if you're just sitting at home waiting for your manifestations, let's just for example, I don't mean to trigger anybody, but let's just say you are a housewife sitting at home and your marriage is over. It's not going anywhere. Your husband's going to work, but you're at home being like, okay, I need to get out of here. This isn't working for me anymore. Or maybe you're not saying I need to get out of here. Maybe you're just saying I need to manifest a better life. I need to manifest happiness and whatever. But in the back of your mind, you're just like, I don't want to be in this with this man anymore or whatever. I don't want to be in this situation anymore. But then yet you do nothing about it. You're there stewing about whatever the problem is. I gave the example of a housewife, but it could be anything. I guess don't be triggered by me. I'm just a fool on the internet. If you're unwilling to give up the things that you're stewing over, that are making you feel uncomfortable, you're in a certain situation, you want change, and it's making you very uncomfortable, it's giving you anxiety, but you're not willing to actually take action to change it, and you have the capability, you have the capability of changing, but you don't. You willingly just you just stay in your situation. You want to move to a different place, but you never take action to do it. It's a perfect example. Well, then you'll never know what it's like. You'll never know what's waiting for you around that bend. You'll never know what's waiting for you around that bend if you don't take action towards your goal. I guess in my notes here, watching Netflix. A lot of people use that metaphor they use that analogy. If you're just sitting there watching Netflix, you're paying that Netflix bill, or going and chilling with your friends, absorbing, what it is that they believe, and the conversations, emotions, communications that they are only willing to feel, have, and take on. You're not willing to, let's say you feel lonely. How often do you put yourself in a situation where you can accept the uncomfortable situation of being alone? Or are you always trying to fill the void. You know, you feel lonely, you have nobody. You live on a deserted island, you live in the desert. You're lonely. And you're constantly, so what you do is like you jump online to your Facebook or your Instagram or your dating sites, and you're swiping, and you're trying to, you're searching physically for whatever this is that's going to solve your problem, right? But how willing are you to put yourself in the uncomfortable situation of being with yourself and accepting it? Have you done that? Oh, I've been doing that for 20 years, you say, right? 20 years I've been alone, been trying to get comfortable with myself. Well, what else have you been filling your life with? Because it can't just be you, right? You know, who is going to set you free in the end? Is it going to be some guy, some girl, some result, the result of your manifestation? Is that going to set you free? Or is it accepting yourself, accepting who you are? Not all this. Forget about this. Okay? This. If you can't accept this wholeheartedly for exactly how it is, then nobody else is going to do that. If you're trying to get someone else to accept you, you're putting up a front. Now, I can get real doom and gloom about it, but the point is to give you motivation. So, limited mindset producing limited manifestations. Miracles of change will always be set aside when your desires remain side projects. How important is your side project? How important can a side project be? It's important when it's no longer your side project. You want to move, you want to get away from something. Is your side, is it a side project? It's no longer a side project when you take the action to do so. Hope that makes sense to you. Emotions, strategy. Are you going to be the ruler of your emotions, or are you going to let your emotions rule you? Is your desired outcome to your situation or your manifestation, is that dependent on everybody else aligning with your goal? Think about your reaction to it. Somebody's being insensitive to you. Well, you wanted them to be sensitive to you. So your emotional response is to, not be sensitive, but to be, it provokes a negative emotional response. You have a negative emotional response. You cry about it. You can't take it. That this person was not sensitive to you. If you wake up every single day expecting people to be emotionally sensitive to you, and your emotional state of being is dependent on that, then you're going to wake up the same way every morning. But the uncomfortable approach, the approach that I would say that you want to take, because you want to take an uncomfortable approach. You want to be out of your comfort zone. You can only manifest the same stuff that's in your comfort zone. Stepping out of your comfort zone in this scenario would be to be perfectly well aware that the universe is going to test you with somebody coming along and being very insensitive to you. to accept that that is just the way it is, but that it serves a purpose. See, when you think that someone's coming up to you or responding to you in an insensitive way, and you think that it does not have a meaning, a purpose, that is the loop back around again. You're just going to be same thing over and over, vicious cycles. But when you understand, and this goes for anything, any kind of connection, any kind of communication, any kind of reaction, response, cause and effect. If you know, that's the universe. See, that person said something really messed up to me, or at least that's the way I perceived it. Okay, that's my uncomfortable test. That's where I needed to be. Okay, am I dependent on this person's opinion of me? Am I dependent on this outcome? You know, the answer is no. If you're actually trying to manifest something new and you're trying to manifest change, the answer is no. It's not dependent on them. Whatever it is, whatever they're vibing on, it's not them that needs to change. Perspective. Okay? You stay the same. If you want to stay the same, you are a beautiful person. You are a powerful person. Okay? But power comes with accepting power. Accepting that you have the power, accepting that there's a higher purpose, accepting that there's a meaning for everything. Accepting that the universe always has your back, to give you change. And the change shouldn't be a side project, if that's what you're looking for. You're looking for everything to stay the same, probably not the channel for you. Because we're all about change. We're all about accepting the uncomfortable nature of life. It's just part of the dimensions of life and the human experience. Okay? Or were you born into this life? Did you agree to come to this life to revolt against the human experience? No. You came to achieve something. It's called co-creation. Authentic creativity comes from within. Everything comes from within. Your world around you is manifested from that which you are, that which you vibrate on, right? So if you need change, then what are you changing? What are you trying to produce? Absolute certainty. I'm gonna pull two more cards here. Absolute certainty. The universe is always certain. Whoops. The human mind is what creates doubt. The universe is always checking to see what you are certain about. How often does your mind get stuck on things in your life that are positively, supportively certain versus the way you wish things were? There's a direction. Yes, there's a direction. Okay? That's aside from the point. But when you're launching out there to the universe what you want, and you're consciously aware of it, that's one thing. But the universe, you are the universe. Okay? So in your subconscious, the things that you're not aware of, you're still the universe. It's still producing something for you. So are you aware? Are you conscious of what's lying in your subconscious that the universe keeps handing you? Are you willing to make a change? Are you dependent on other people, other things changing your life for you? I'm homeless. I'm in this truck day after day, month after month. But I don't expect anything. I'm just doing what I'm doing. I'm just staying busy, staying active, doing what research I have to, and accepting the fact that, you know what? It doesn't matter what happens in the end. I'm still on this journey. I'm happy. I'm fulfilled. I'm independent. I don't let anybody dictate, what I should be doing, who I should be, what I should look like, how much money I should make. Poor, rich. Whose definition is that? Ugly, beautiful. Whose definition is that? Is that your definition? It's not my definition. There's a verses in there. Rich, poor. I am rich. I'm a freaking millionaire. Because I'm capable of being a millionaire. I'm capable of being. I'm not literally at this point I'm filming this. I'm not a millionaire. Okay, I don't have millions of dollars. I don't have a dollar to my name. But that does not matter. Okay, whose definition are you? There's a lot of culture out there right now. There's a lot of culture out there right now, modern culture, where, men are afraid to date women, and women are afraid to, or women can't find the man that they're looking for. Because of everything I've said. They're not willing to put themselves in an uncomfortable situation. They're defining themselves by what other people think. The media is one thing. Social media is another thing, right? I don't have social media. I do want to get it for this channel, but it's definitely not going to be something that defines who I am, right? Money is not going to define who I am. It's not the money, okay? It's the energy. I don't know why I pulled a seventh card. I guess this was for a reason. Obviously, everything has a purpose. But there has to be, care taken. You have to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, okay? I guess is probably the whole point of this process of achievement reading. Is that you may feel you're in a certain situation right now. It may feel cold and dark and stark, but that you have choices. This, right? It's just getting over your own quirks, your own emotional limitations. Being patient, yes, okay? Your manifestations are coming. You put them out there. You're always putting them out there. Right? So to have confidence in the future, to have confidence in the present moment, to have confidence in your memories of the past, they all serve a purpose. Everything serves a purpose. Having strategy. See, I got these two cards here, one above the other. So a lot of times this is emotions, this is strategy. King of Cups, right? And then the Five of Pentacles. Being forced out into the cold, having to transition from one state of being to the next. But that king was in the subconscious, right? So basically what that's saying is, from a starting point, you need to be aware of the energy you're putting out. If somebody is being insensitive to you and you feel emotional about it and you cry about it, you should be aware, self-aware, that all that is happening. Not being self-aware is just focusing on the other person. That's it. Just focusing on what they did and how they feel, and the negative to everything that was experienced, but not understanding the response, the reactivity, not acknowledging it. You don't have to be in the wrong. You don't have to be in the right. That's not the point. Is acknowledge what's going on in total. Let's see what we got at the bottom. Yeah, you got change coming. That death card's in the subconscious right below the Seven of Cups. You got change coming. Yeah, look at this real quick before we get into those future cards with 39, 49. Yeah, you got the Three of Wands underneath the Seven of Pentacles. That's like double down waiting right there in the middle. Kind of like almost like your present tense cards leading into the future. Okay, so it's going to take a lot of introspection. You're going to have a lot of time on your hands. But that's not the point. Dreading how long it's going to take is not the point, right? You might be feeling like in this current, you might be feeling in this current time that time is like seriously sped up. Like you keep waking up like, what the heck? How are we almost done with January already? 2023 went by so fast. Well, and you might almost feel a sense of hesitation and fear that 2024 is just going to blow by and you're not going to accomplish anything. Relax. Just relax. Align yourself. Meditate. In this time, we're walking through this portal. We're crossing through the portal. It's on the 17th right now. This is a big stress point right now. You might be experiencing the stress point. You might be experiencing the stress point. You might be feeling miscommunications between others, like it doesn't seem to make sense. You might be feeling like time is sped up. And so we're crossing through and out of this portal. Okay, between the 16th and the 21st, I've put here. It could extend for some people, but in general, the confidence needs to be high. Okay, which brings me to this, the bottom cards. but my notes are saying, as far as the time schedule, confidence needs to be high in this time. Actions and words aligned with intentions. So what you're acting on, and the words you put out there should align with your intentions. But there's going to be conflict when you do this. The universe is always testing you. Okay, you can't just revert back into self and be like, no, I don't want to experience that. No, the universe has to check you. The universe is your friend. But you're the best advice from friends is not always, from a true friend, is not always what we want to hear. It's what we need to hear. So faith in the divine and the path. You might need to just start all over. It just depends on where you want to be. Not so much where you're at, but where you want to be. If you want to be in a place, you need to put yourself there mentally, physically, emotionally. You want a problem solved? Emotionally solve the problem. Vibrationally solve the problem. And then wait for the universe to respond. And when the universe responds, okay, acknowledge it. That's an important thing. Don't skip that step, and don't acknowledgement, but don't skip the step of being thankful. Being thankful and grateful for even negative things is one of the best ways to consciously acknowledge anything. This really harsh stress point came into my life. Okay, control yourself. Man. Okay, thank you. I'm a little distraught right now, but I will eventually get the message. But this happened for a reason. Maybe write it down. This happened for a reason. This is what happened. Quick acknowledgement of response, reactive timing. Are you reacting to something or are you responding to something? Acknowledge what's in your physical world. Acknowledge what's in your physical world. This could be, this is saying response time to me. Quick acknowledgement of response time. Don't just go out there and fight it. Fight against it, whatever the universe is handing you. Rest on it. Write it down. Scripting. Acknowledge how you feel about the situation and what your response to it was, or your reactivity was. It's okay to falter. It's okay to have a bad negative response, trying not to hurt anybody. Don't hurt anybody. But when it all comes down to it, acknowledging first what the universe is handing you that's already in your vibration, or the change that's coming about, this uncomfortable change, this uncomfortable situation you put yourself into. Acknowledgement of what's being manifested. And be thankful that the universe is working with you, not against you. Now, the universe might hand you something that's kind of negative. It might seem that way, but it's not doing it. It's not doing it against you. It's doing it for you. You know, you want to give something up. So you want to quit smoking. It's negligent thought in manifestation terms. Everything is manifestation. It's negative thought to assume because you want to quit smoking, the universe will now no longer hand you the urge to smoke. The universe is going to hand you the urge to smoke. In fact, you're trying to quit smoking. Let's say you're trying to quit smoking cigarettes. The universe is going to hand you somebody. It's going to quite literally hand you a cigarette and be like, you want to smoke? Because whatever, that past friend or whatever, or whoever, your coworker, knows you're smoking, but you really want to stop smoking. So you're like, universe, I want to stop smoking. This is what I'm trying to manifest. You think the universe isn't going to hand you that? The universe is going to hand you it again because it was the last thing in your vibration. It was the last thing you were vibing on. And it knows your subconscious, the universe knows you don't want that anymore. Knows that you want change. Change is coming, you tell the universe. And the universe is like, okay, well, let me check with you. And you say no. No, thank you to the cigarette. No, thank you to those influences that were coming around. No, thank you to this toxic relationship. No, thank you anymore. No, thank you. A certain way a certain wage you've been getting. A wage, an income, money coming in. You've been getting it a certain way, but you want the change. The universe is not going to hand you change if you continue to accept the money that way. Leaving a job for a better opportunity, a better career opportunity, or starting your own. It's not going to hand you the new thing if you keep going back to the old thing. So when you say no to that cigarette, when you say no to that certain wage limitation, you've been earning a certain amount of money a certain way. If you keep accepting it, it's not going to hand you something new. If you say no, thank you, I no longer want this certain dollars per hour or whatever. I no longer want this cigarette. No, thank you. But thank you for acknowledging the fact that I'm on this journey. Thank you for acknowledging the fact that I needed to acknowledge a stress point. Created a stress point. Thank you. The next thing the universe is going to hand you is going to be the change. That's the crazy thing. That's exactly how we're manifesting. When you say no to whatever it is, you say no to that, or when you say yes to, so when you say you don't want to smoke anymore, you don't want to smoke cigarettes anymore, and the universe hands you a cigarette and you go, oh, the universe keeps handing me the same thing. Why does the universe keep handing me the same thing? Well, how uncomfortable are you willing to put yourself in a situation to create change? I hope this resonated with you. I hope this made sense. This is just sort of like improvised. I'm going to have some videos coming out for you guys pretty soon. I just felt the need to get this sort of like medium, this sort of like middle ground video going on here for the collective reading. Before I get into the meat and potatoes of the February predictions, because I'm going to start going into the houses for each sign, We're gonna be, each video I'm gonna be putting out in the month, or in the end of January, month of February, is going to be a spin-off of the previous reading given to each sign. So for example, Aries is my next tackle. If you took part in the Aries reading, thank you. Whatever the subject was, whatever we were doing in that Aries reading, this next reading is going to be a spin-off of the same reading, except it's going to involve the houses and some more advice, some more astrological anomalies for the month of February that we didn't go over in the previous video. Okay, hope this is going to be fun. I'm really hoping this is going to be fun. Or I know it's going to be fun. All these videos are fun that I put out. I enjoy doing this. That's why I do it. I'm not attached to a certain outcome. But at the same time, I really hope there's someone out there, or at least I really hope you're resonating with this one. I know people are, with this way of going about the readings. And I'm still getting used to this. I'm still building on it. And we'll see where it goes in the future. I'm really excited, and I appreciate you letting me read for the collective. Appreciate you letting me give my spiel. Leave me a comment down below. What's your opinion about the situation? Give it a thumbs up if it resonated with you. If you want to book a personal reading with me, you can do so at crosswatcher1111@gmail.com, and you can book a reading with me. In the meantime, namaste. I see you guys. I love you guys. You take care out there. I'll see you later.